It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Family flew in from across the country. The dress was steamed. The flowers were fresh. The guests were already gathering. But the bride was gone. And what followed? Stunned an entire town, Emily Carter was the kind of woman who made things happen. At 29, she worked as a senior event coordinator at a boutique agency in Charleston, South Carolina. Organized, driven, and deeply loyal, Emily had been the go-to planner for weddings, fundraisers, and charity galas in the region. But this time, the spotlight was finally on her. She was engaged to Daniel Reeves, a 33-year-old architect she'd met during a corporate fundraiser 3 years earlier. Friends said Daniel was charming, reserved, and absolutely in love with Emily. The proposal had happened during a private boat ride on the Ashley River. Picture perfect, but not everything was as perfect as it seemed. Behind the smiles, Emily had confided to a close friend that she was feeling nervous and unsure, not about marrying Daniel exactly, but about some of the strange behavior he'd exhibited in recent months. Sudden mood swings, secretive phone calls, and a temper that emerged during arguments. Still, the wedding planning went ahead. Saturday, April 22, 2023, Emily was scheduled to be at the bridal suite at 7:30 a.m. for hair and makeup. By 8:15 a.m., she hadn't arrived. At first, the hairdresser assumed traffic. But by 9 o'clock, concern began to build. Calls went straight to voicemail. Texts were delivered but unanswered. Her maid of honor, Rachel Linwood, drove to Emily's apartment. Her car was there. Her door was locked. A neighbor said she saw Emily return home around 11 p.m. the night before, carrying a small overnight bag and flowers. By 10:15 a.m., the venue manager alerted the police. Police arrived at Emily's apartment by mid-morning. The door showed no signs of forced entry. Inside, everything was neatly in place except for one thing: Emily's wedding dress, which had been laid out on the garment rack, was gone. Her phone was missing. Her purse was still there. Her makeup bag was untouched. Surveillance footage from the lobby showed Emily entering the building at 10:53 p.m. She was alone. She smiled at the night doorman. She waved. That was the last confirmed sighting of her. Guests were seated by noon. By then, whispers were circulating. By 12:30, Daniel stood before the altar, pale and visibly trembling. At 12:45, the officiant announced that the ceremony would be delayed. At 1:15 p.m., the wedding was officially cancelled. Daniel broke down in the lobby. He kept repeating, "She wouldn't do this. She wouldn't run." And maybe he was right. By Sunday morning, the story had hit the local news. Bride vanishes hours before wedding, foul play suspected. Charleston PD launched a missing persons investigation. Friends were questioned. Security footage from nearby intersections was reviewed. An Uber driver came forward, stating that he'd picked up a woman matching Emily's description around 6:30 a.m. from a nearby coffee shop. She gave a destination, a public park 15 miles outside of town, but the driver claimed she canceled mid-route and asked to be dropped off at a rural gas station instead. The footage at the gas station showed a woman in a gray hoodie and black leggings. No makeup. Hair tied up. She looked anxious. She looked like Emily. She was seen talking to someone in a black pickup truck. And then she got in. That truck has never been identified. A shocking twist came 5 days later when detectives uncovered text messages from a hidden folder in Emily's iCloud backup. There was someone else. His name was Kyle Brennan, 35, a former photographer she'd met at a wedding expo over a year ago. Their messages revealed an emotional, possibly physical, affair that had spanned months, then ended abruptly when Emily got engaged. But Kyle had recently re-entered her life. There were emotional messages. Apologies. Questions like, "Are you really happy with him? And you don't have to do this." Kyle lived in Asheville, North Carolina. Police tracked him down. He denied involvement, claimed he hadn't seen Emily in months. His alibi, confirmed by his employer, checked out. Still, the revelation was devastating to Daniel and raised more questions than answers. 2 weeks after the disappearance, a park ranger stumbled upon something strange during routine maintenance near the Angel Oak Nature Preserve, a shoe partially buried in dirt near the edge of the trail. It was Emily's, a custom ivory heel that matched her wedding outfit. Further down the trail, behind a cluster of thick trees, police found a silk ribbon, torn and stained. Near it, a torn bridal veil. A full search of the woods ensued. On the third day, cadaver dogs led officers to a shallow grave. Inside was Emily Carter, still wearing her wedding gown, torn, dirty, and stained with blood. She had been bludgeoned and strangled. Time of death, likely the morning of the wedding. The autopsy revealed a small piece of fabric clenched in her hand, a piece of denim. Traces of motor oil and rust were found under her nails. Surveillance enhancement from the gas station confirmed something chilling. The man driving the black pickup wasn't a stranger. It was Daniel's cousin, Jeremy Reeves, a mechanic with a criminal record: burglary, assault, DUI. Someone Emily had publicly clashed with years ago, and who had never liked her. Jeremy was brought in for questioning. At first, he denied involvement. Then, under pressure, he cracked. He admitted to picking her up, but claimed he was just helping her think things through. He said she wanted to escape the wedding, that she was falling apart. But evidence told a different story. Scratches on his face. Emily's blood in his truck. Her engagement ring found in his glove compartment. On May 15, Jeremy was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The motive stunned everyone. Jeremy claimed Daniel knew about the affair. That he was devastated and angry. He said Daniel asked him to scare Emily into backing out. That it wasn't supposed to go that far. Daniel denied it all. There was no evidence tying him directly to the murder, but the suspicion stuck. Eventually, prosecutors determined there wasn't enough to charge Daniel. Jeremy pleaded guilty to murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Daniel moved away from Charleston shortly after. He has never spoken publicly about the case again. In a final, heartbreaking twist, police recovered a deleted voice memo from Emily's cloud account. It was recorded at 5:12 a.m. the morning of the wedding. If anything happens to me, I didn't run. I wouldn't do that to my family. Or to you. I feel like someone's watching me. And I don't know if I'm safe. But I'm going to go through with it. I have to. Emily Carter never made it to the altar. But in the end, her voice told the world the truth. Just when Emily's family thought they had lost her forever, a single voicemail surfaced, one that would change everything. It pointed fingers, shattered alibis, and revealed that the person they trusted most might be the one who wanted her gone. But the truth? That was only beginning to unravel. Emily Carter was found dead in the woods days after vanishing hours before her wedding. Her killer, Jeremy Reeves, her fiancé's cousin, confessed under pressure. But while he sat behind bars, questions remained. Was Jeremy acting alone? And what secrets were still hiding in the shattered world Emily left behind? The trial of Jeremy Reeves began in early October 2023. The courtroom overflowed with reporters and spectators. The prosecution painted a picture of a violent man with a grudge. Jeremy had a long-standing dislike for Emily, stemming from a business deal that ended in court and left him bankrupt. But the defense had a different strategy. They claimed Jeremy was manipulated by someone close to Emily. Someone with more to lose. And they had a name, Daniel Reeves. Daniel was called to testify. He appeared gaunt, pale, and quiet. He answered questions with care, denying any knowledge of the plan to intimidate or harm Emily. But then came the voicemail. The prosecution revealed a deleted message from Daniel's phone, recovered from the cloud. In it, Daniel could be heard saying, "If she backs out, everything falls apart. I need you to handle this, Jeremy. Scare her if you have to." The courtroom gasped. Daniel's expression never changed. For Emily's parents, Rebecca and Thomas Carter, the pain was visible in every word. Rebecca broke down when asked to identify the dress Emily had been buried in. Thomas spoke with fire in his voice. "They tried to silence my daughter. But she was stronger than any of them. She left us her truth." The Carters presented emails, journal entries, and handwritten notes Emily had kept. In them, she expressed fear, uncertainty, and concern about Daniel's anger. One entry, dated 2 weeks before the wedding, read, "Sometimes I look at him and I don't see love. I see control." The bombshell came on week 3 of the trial. Rachel Linwood, Emily's best friend and maid of honor, handed over a hidden camera recording Emily had placed in her own apartment. Emily had reportedly been concerned that someone had been entering when she wasn't home. The footage was grainy but clear enough. 2 weeks before her murder, Daniel was captured entering her apartment using a key one she had never given him. He appeared to search through drawers and took photos of several documents. That same night, Emily wrote in her journal, "I feel watched. Like I'm sleeping next to a stranger." The jury shifted visibly. Jeremy, in a second confession, admitted that Daniel had offered him $25,000 to scare her into silence. He claimed Daniel had threatened to cut off his financial help if he refused. Texts recovered from an old backup confirmed it. "You owe me. Do this right or I'm done with you." With mounting evidence, Daniel Reeves was arrested mid-trial for conspiracy to commit murder. On December 8, 2023, after a 6-week trial, Jeremy Reeves was found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Daniel Reeves' separate trial took place in early 2024. His defense tried to argue that he never intended for Emily to be hurt. But the jury was unconvinced. He was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and sentenced to 40 years in prison. The courtroom erupted in applause. In the months that followed, Emily's parents launched the Emily Carter Foundation, dedicated to protecting women from emotional coercion and abuse. They raised over $1.2 million in the first 6 months. Her best friend Rachel became a speaker, advocating for relationship safety and early warning signs. Emily's story spread nationwide. Her final voice memo aired on national news. Her face became a symbol for strength, silence broken, and justice pursued. Emily Carter didn't get to walk down the aisle. But she left behind a trail of courage, strength, and truth. Her killers thought she would disappear quietly. They were wrong. Justice, in the end, caught up to those who tried to silence her. And in the courtroom where her memory echoed through every testimony, Emily stood taller than any of them. Some stories end in darkness. But not this one. This one ended in light. She was heard. She was believed. And justice was served.